we're going to throw people out, and Des Moines, where they've already arrested people. So you're not in this by yourselves. And I think that's something for people to think about. Now, what about the First Amendment issues? Okay, we think, based on the legal research, that we're in unusually good shape. And here's why. Because in the rest of the country, people have to deal with this Supreme Court case that says, well, you might be able to stay out in the park, but you don't necessarily have the right to put up a tent, and you definitely don't have the right to sleep in the tent, as ridiculous as that sounds. However, we happen to be in a part of the country under the jurisdiction of something called the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. It's the federal appeals court before you get to the Supreme Court. And there's a decision by one of the sister courts to the Connecticut federal court that says, look, not only can you do that, but you have a right to have tents in the park and sleep in them. And the reason for that's a gift to us from an organization of homeless people in New York City who fought a case against them back in 2000 about their right to sleep on the sidewalk outside Gracie Mansion where the mayor lives. So we have some legal precedent that's got a little bit of heft and a little bit of push to it. That's a little bit different from what a lot of other people are dealing with. Now, you know, Chief Roberts, he's a nice guy, and I've talked to him about legal issues before, and he's smart. But no one's going to stand here and have a debate with him about whether or not, you know, whether or not Clark versus Community for Creative Nonviolence is the decision that's going to decide whether or not he arrests you. That's not going to happen. What is likely to happen, what I can say that we can plan to happen is this, that we can move forward from whatever happens tomorrow morning, and within the next couple of days, you know, and a couple of days, that's the best I can tell you, we can file in federal district court for an injunction against the city of Hartford for arguing that they should not be allowed to interfere with your First Amendment rights by taking down tents or preventing you from sleeping in the park. Now, what will happen when we file for that injunction? We don't know, and neither does the city. What that does mean is that because of the case law and because of the circumstances, we're in a slightly better position to argue the First Amendment issues than some folks are. And we're prepared to take advantage of that. I'm sorry, I'm going to get to you, but you're really going to have to wait.
Is there a time check now?
So, I have a very limited amount of time to do this in, so I want to try to get as much information to people as possible. So, there's nothing we can do before tomorrow morning that's going to prevent this from happening. I think that if you read the chief's statement as we want to talk, but in the meantime we're exercising some push, then the next step is a little pushback to say, well, yeah, you know what, we'll take them down, but we want you to know that if we can't put them back up again, we have avenues that we're going to pursue. Now, people will have to decide if that's what they want, but it is one of the tools that are available to people. Okay, please, I'm sorry.
Before I call on people, I want to just add a couple of points that can help us maybe formulate how we're going to proceed. The lawyers are offering us very good information about tactics. We need to distinguish between tactics and strategy. We need to be tactically wise, but we all, in tactics, deal with short-term decisions, but we also have to have a long-term idea of strategy. So a strategy question we must ask ourselves is, who is the focus of our occupation? Are we choosing a battle because we have an issue with the police, or are we choosing because we have an issue with corporate America? So that will inform how we proceed tactically. Our strategy will inform how we proceed tactically. So we need to keep that in mind. Flexibility is something we should keep in mind too. The police, in my experience, don't want the extra paperwork of arresting a whole lot of folks. I'm not sure we have a whole lot of folks willing to get arrested though. So that's something else to consider. But we distinguish between tactics and strategy. one of the other reasons to have the committee meetings is so we can discuss tactics and strategy to inform our decision process. Yes, ma'am.
Mosquitoes.
Really important topic that we need to discuss as quickly as possible is a plan for tomorrow. Since there, I get